mode selections that have come in. By default, Alliance Rogue wins the coin flip, coming out first seed in their group against Crush Soda. Alliance Rogue elected to strike away tower control, and Crush Soda has elected to order the modes Clam, Blitz, Rainmaker, and then Splat Zone's third if necessary. So it feels like maybe Crush Soda Brush feeling a little more confident on Clams.
Yeah, and it's an interesting pick because the plot line for Crush Soda has never necessarily been these coordinated attacks, which is what Clam Blitz is known for. So throwing that up first, you're really banking on these one-off players, these little blips of aggressive gameplay, and you're looking at your frontline slayers. Last week, we did not see any sort of coordination coming out from them. In fact, we saw team comps that I don't think has ever been talked about behind the scenes. So coming in this week, we're hoping to see a different Crush Soda.
Yeah, and with Crush Soda arguing, trying to find a way to play together with the power of friendship, what better mode to go with right off the bat than Crush Soda? We'll see what their anime powers can do for them here right off the bat.
Of course, worth noting, Alliance Rogue probably doesn't want to go over to tower control, and I think that's a smart move for them. I think a lot of what these teams are thinking about as they're electing which modes to pick and ban, I think is actually the maps that are played. We saw, quite a lot. We were talking a little bit as well in the last set on tower control, where we're talking about Mako Mart, Sturgeon Shipyard, things that favor the machine incredibly well, maybe less so favoring the Carbon Roller and favoring the pace that weapon wants to play at, along with, that coupled with the tower control's path of motion. So that's the other thing to kind of consider here. Alliance Rogue striking away that tower control. And you have to imagine, Brush, that if we get there, they are feeling incredibly happy about Splat Zones being in that third decider set. If the insurance card needs to come out, that's where it lies for Alliance Rogue.
Absolutely. And I want to take a moment to just point out some stats here. Crush Soda has 0 first place statistics, 0 second place statistics, and it looks like as on player levels, 0 third place statistics. So they are really playing from behind here. Alliance Rogue, on the other hand, has Volty second kill. Sorry, is that kill paint ratio? Or a kill per respawn?
Kill participation ratio is the number you're looking for. So Volty participates in nearly half of Alliance Rogue's kills, which is all around this idea of setting things up for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it comes down to Crush Soda knowing how Alliance Rogue is going to play. What is their strategy going to be? Do they try to just slay the dragon and Volty straight up? Or do they try to clip its wings, take out its paint first, make sure there's not as much spots for Volty to hide? They got to pick and choose who they want to go after. And again, if they actually practice this week, maybe they came up with that strategy. But yes, picking Splat Zone's third, that is critical. Let's just try to win this one 2-0 before we got to deal with carbon shenanigans on Flounder and Mako.
Yeah, try to win this one, but even still, right? We're talking about this, and the reality is we don't know how much Crush Soda has actually practiced this week, right? We knew that they didn't practice at all last week. I haven't heard anything from Kyo, I think, especially in terms of his public presence lately. What do you think here, Brush? Do you think they went back to the drawing board or thought about it at all after last week's performance?
I'd certainly hope so, but those player interviews did not fill me with confidence here, K-Bot. Talking about friendship, it's not what you want to hear when you're going against the team predicted to win by most of our casters.
And not only the power of friendship going into this, but also talking about the power of friendship when the team is probably going to disband after the Resurgence League season, probably because they're not as close friends as they might have thought. Popgun, what do you think about the team dynamic here for Crush Soda?
As we go on, we remember. Yeah, I think most of the players already took the Crush Soda tag out of their Twitter bio. But hey, that doesn't mean they can't go out with a bang. If you beat Alliance Rogue, maybe all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, maybe we should try this out a little bit longer. And then if you do that, you're in grand finals. So, yeah, an impossible task faced up against them. But who knows? We've already been surprised once today. What would happen? What's wrong with the second surprise?
All right, predictions here. We're starting on Clam Blitz. Brush, I'll start with you. 2-0, 2-1, or you think Crush Soda might actually do it?
Look, I mean, last week I was a big Crush Soda fanboy. I went to my local diner though. I tried Fanta, and I am a big fan. So Alliance Rogue, I think has a 2-0, a nice 4-0 here. But I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I think Alliance Rogue takes Clam Blitz.
Popgun, is Crush Soda going to be able to eliminate the carbon roller here on Clams, or is it just going to start running all over the place again?
No. Alliance Rogue's going to win this one 2-0. That's all I got to say.
Well, looks like we're still trying to get our players into the lobby. It looks like we had everyone in the lobby, and then one of the players just left again for some reason. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but I imagine we'll be getting into this one in just a little bit. So I'll send it over to our casters for the next match. It's going to be Nox and Fusion to take care of this one. Go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much, K-Bot, Popgun, and Brush. To quote the wise words of Kyo-chan DXD, if anyone loses a single game to us, I will be celebrating. And that's kind of about how our expectations are going into this set. It's going to be an uphill battle for Crush Soda, who's trying to go out with one last hurrah. We'll see how that's going to shape up against Alliance Rogue. Now, the original team to take a set off Starburst after this huge play. I'm joined here by Nox to commentate this set. And how are you feeling about it, Nox?
You know, I'm hoping that Crush Soda at least pulls off some interesting stuff. I'm being as unbiased as I can be going into this, despite everything we know. But yeah, definitely not expecting to see the best out of Crush Soda here. Of course, you never know. Kyo is one of the best players still, but it seems like Crush Soda as a team has really just lost any sense of synergy, and it's going to make it really hard for them to play off of each other.
Yeah, certainly. It's felt like they've been playing more independently and less as a team since last week, at least. It felt like in terms of weapons, people were doing their own thing, and this may be the end for them compared to Alliance Rogue, who's looked better than ever. Yeah. But going into the actual set, we saw that tower control didn't end up being banned, and Splat Zones was postponed, put onto the back burner. It's going to be the last set here. We're going to be starting on Clam Blitz, and that may work out somewhat in Crush Soda's favor. There's 2 games they played on zones during the main season were 0-2, but Clam Blitz, they believe they had a positive record on it. We are going to be seeing that's oh my goodness, what the heck? We're going to be seeing a lot of unexpected things coming out here. We do see, I mean, Volty on the Charger, Wave is back, or sorry, Volty in the Carbon, Wave's actually back on Charger, and we see the Stamper coming out from Kyo. So some more variety picks, and maybe they're hoping to catch Alliance Rogue off guard here on Clam Storage.
Yeah, they definitely might be. It could just be that they're going with comfort picks at this point, since they're not super convinced in their abilities. Definitely not seeing any huge surprises here on Alliance Rogue. Happy to see bringing out those trip strikes again. Definitely helps them get in more easily. And now we are seeing a crowd just completely pushing Crush Soda back. Just completely open path right now for Alliance Rogue to get into that basket.
Yeah, they do manage to find their way to the basket. They open up that push for the score. Stars looking to get in, get some extra picks here, but they're unable to find it. Crush Soda doing a good job cleaning up the majority of the map and surviving the first onslaught from Alliance Rogue.
Yeah, they definitely did manage to survive it, but they haven't really been able to capitalize on too much. Neither team has. And we do see a member going down here for Alliance Rogue. We're seeing Crush Soda starting to move up, popping this crab maybe a bit early.
Yeah, the crab does come out. They're not really able to find anything over on that right side. Thunder is looking to just paint the map, but Crush Soda is still maintaining some good control. They're going to need quite a few clams if they want to take back that lead from Alliance Rogue, but so far they are doing all right in clearing Alliance Rogue out. They have multiple clams, and now that's a 2-down, almost a 3-down situation, and that's going to be an opening for them to get in. Now there's just, I believe, Kiver, or Gray actually sharking by the basket, and Gray is not able to stop it. It looks like the ball is going to end up going in, and Crush Soda is actually going to start a pretty big push of their own. They're moving in on the basket, get the score down to 70. The power climb does come in. They get it down to 50, almost ties the lead, but not quite able to do so, and it looks like that push is going to end right there. But a very big comeback so far from Crush Soda. Alliance Rogue looking to regain that control of the middle.
Yeah, almost getting it tied there with Crush Soda. Does go up by a point because that's how tiebreakers work in Splatoon. And we are seeing AR doing a great job of collapsing on mid super quickly, managing to take out Wave with an absolutely incredible Azuka shot there. That is 3 down. This is going to be another great push out of Alliance Rogue. They don't have a power claim at the ready, though, which is going to make it hard to do that. I say that as they already have gotten one in, and I just lost my mind for a second. But Alliance Rogue is getting a great push going off here. Just a couple clams left to go. They don't have the last one they need, though, and the last 2 players are stuck in mid, so it seems like they're going to have to back off for a second, and it's just Kiver up, who tries to sneak in, but does choose to back off.
Yeah, Kiver nearly gets in with it, but Crush Soda a little bit wise to that this time. Now, Kiver looking to start the defense here. Kyo not able to get something started on his own. Now, Kiver trying to shut this push down for good. Uses that crab tank, not able to find anything, but they clear off Crush Soda from top mid, and that could open the door for Volty to get into a prime position. Volty looking to sneak in, but with all that blue in the middle of the map, they're going to have a very difficult time. So far, Crush Soda has done a pretty solid job at stopping Volty from getting in, but unfortunately, diving for the ball as it's running out is going to give Volty that opening. Volty finds 2, looking for more. He's hungry and searching for that pick on Wave, using that wall to block those shots and leading yet another push in for Alliance Rogue.
Volty just really getting incredible picks here. Volty always a very consistent player here for Alliance Rogue, in large part because of how well set up they are by their teammates. Volty would not be able to move around nearly the amount they do without the amount of paint put out by their other teammates, and Scar just being able to play such consistent cleanup, like stopping Kyo from dropping right there.
Yeah, now Alliance Rogue just locking down this left side. We've seen Scar do an excellent job just watching that area, and that's so important when you have members on the other team who just want to drop in from mid. Keeping an eye on that place will stop you from getting flanked, and now Gray gets an opportunity to go on the right side. The jump comes in, Kiver gets that final power clam in, and that is going to be game 1 going to Alliance Rogue.
Yeah, really nice to see Alliance Rogue be able to play so cleanly there. Of course, Crush Soda got in that one big push, but they did a great job regrouping from it, and they moved into mid so quickly. It's always so impressive to see how fast these top-level teams manage to get back into mid.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly didn't seem like too far an uphill battle as I had expected coming out from Crush Soda, because it felt like, I don't know, they were very vocal about, at least Kyo was, about how things were not going so great. And
Goss's name also indicates that a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alliance Rogue still ends up coming out on top, although not quite as dominant as we would have expected. But I think for a Clam Blitz game, Crush Soda looked pretty organized.
You know, by Crush Soda standards, they did move together. They played off of each other more than usual. They tried to get picks together. Wave on Charger still is a bit odd to see with how Crush Soda tends to play, at least to me. But definitely could have gone worse. Wave got some great picks. I don't remember seeing too many useful triple strikes coming out, though, there with that Charger.
Yeah, they were. I don't think they really lived long enough to get too many useful triple ink strikes. You tend to only see them when your team is really winning, or even when you're getting back in with it. I feel like they're kind of they end so quickly. It's very easy to just miss them. But we will be moving on to our next match of Clam Blitz, hoping that Crush Soda will be able to come back. But Alliance Rogue, of course, just looking so steady. We saw Gray doing a great job maintaining paint control and kind of snuffing out the pushes that Crush Soda was putting forward. And we'll probably continue to see more of that as we move into our next match.
Yeah, we definitely will. Gray has been, I believe, getting the most paint out of anyone in the league for the entire season. Very consistent paint coming out of Gray, and just very consistent play coming out of AR generally. They're not a team with super drastic differences usually, and I'm imagining that their confidence is only higher right now with coming off of that win against Starburst, and now feeling, I'm assuming, very confident in their ability to take Crush Soda here, considering everything that's been said.
Yeah, and I think we are we're gonna do a little explode there real quick. Unfortunately, the lobby does end up going down due to mysterious circumstances. I don't know what that's related to, but it could just be Nintendo things, unfortunately. But yeah, do you think Clam Blitz on Museum will change the dynamic going into this next one?
It definitely could change the dynamic. I'm not expecting too much of a change. Still going to be Kyo, probably on that Stamper, just because it's so good at maneuvering on this map. I mean, you play Stamper. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is a very good Stamper map. Museum is a very weird map in general, because the entirety of mid is very open and flat. So things like Charger or Stamper or, things with like 96 do a great job holding that ground. But the majority of the match does not take place in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Once basically a team loses the mid, it's so hard to clear out the spinner area on your plat or the enemy plat. And that's why weapons like Machine are just so solid on this map, despite being, I guess, okay in the middle. Weapons that thrive right in the middle of the map might not have the best time when actually pushing or even defending. So you kind of need to consider both when you're building team comps, and that's kind of another reason why people just revert back to the old standard, the works in every situation splash machine.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a map where you feel very comfortable with that double crab, double machine. Lots of ways to get in using them, lots of safe areas to play around. But I think that there are definitely weapons that once you get up, of course it's hard to get up onto the plat. You need something that can help you clear it. But there are definitely weapons. Stamper is so good at holding once you're up there, and so good at like using Zipcaster to break you in. Tri-Slosher can also do great there, something we sometimes see Kyo pull out. And of course, Volti's Carbon, not going to have a terrible time there with all the ledges to play around.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Volti do so much work on this map in particular. It may have been... on this map in particular last week. They may continue to do so. We actually see that heavy Splatling coming out of Wave and the Wiper coming out of Kyo. This is a very interesting series of picks coming out from Crush Soda, but I'm honestly a fan. I think Wave has an excellent backline, and I think they could take advantage of that pretty well. Kyo on that Wiper is going to be able to stay alive a little bit longer than they would have on Stamper, and already seems to be going pretty well as Crush Soda moves up onto the enemy plat, begins clearing out Alliance Rogue, but without finding any picks, they're not going to get much mileage.
Yeah, they're not. We are seeing Scar attempting to get a flank off here. Thunder going to have to back off thanks to those strip strikes. Kyo looking to clear out Scar. Not going to be able to find it yet, but that's okay. The point of Viper is really to cause chaos more than anything else, which is what we've seen Kyo do pretty consistently. But now we're seeing Scar managing to get that pick, and they're really starting to be able to move forward here with Alliance Rogue.
Yeah, that position Waves in is very strong, but three members of Alliance Rogue teaming up on it are going to be even stronger to try and push in. Gray moves in, gets a very nice pick. That's 3 down on the side of Alliance Rogue, actually, but 2 down on the side of Crush Soda. So this push is going to be short-lived. Gray trying to extend it a little bit longer, not able to find it, but a good starting push coming out from Alliance Rogue. They're going to have the time to get back onto their plat, clean up mid a little bit. Volti trying to slow down Crush Soda's momentum on what could be a very quick counter push map.
It definitely can be. The AR did a great job of regrouping quickly there, and Gray staying up and getting those couple extra clams in actually really gave them time to capitalize on respawns, and Scar picking those fights on that right drop also allowed that. And now we're seeing Crush Soda looking for specials, looking for space to get in. Thunder using this crab here and looking for these picks. Scar has gone down again. 2 are weak on the plat. 2 have gone down. This could be a huge push here from Crush Soda if they really get moving.
Yeah, Thunder is able to push people back with that crab tank. That's going to let Kyo get up onto the plat, and that means that they're going to be able to move up, get 1 power clamp in. Unfortunately, Wave going down with that second with what would have been the lead. Now with 3 minutes left in the game, Crush Soda having to take a step back. That's most of their clams gone. They're going to need to just paint up the middle of the map and really just avoid worst case scenarios where Alliance Rogue wipes them, is able to get in and get a big push, because it feels like overall the pushes from Crush Soda have been relatively weak. Only a few clams online. 3 members of Alliance Rogue swarming in the middle of the map looking to get a push going of their own.
They are, but Scar does go down again, and we're seeing 2 of them moving in on that right side. Goss looking to find some space to work with this machine, using that Fizzy to really disrupt the positioning of Alliance Rogue, and really being able to use their specials, use their subs to clear this space, along with that hammer to really move.
Yeah, I love what Goss is doing over on that left side. The Booyah, as well as Machine from this off angle, is going to stop Alliance Rogue from moving in front of the basket. That's going to let Crush Soda move in with those clams. Wave's able to come in now with some extra clams and get the lead. Kyo is going to be forcing members back, but that is going to be all of Crush Soda's clams. That's enough for the lead, but if they stay here too long, that could be bad for them. They do manage to actually back up and stay alive, which is oh so important. And that's a very clean and solid push coming out from Crush Soda. They even have another power clam to boot that's going to net them some charge, special charge, but not anymore as Alliance Rogue grabs that power clam of their own, and now they're going to need to clear out Goss if they want to move back in.
Yeah, but Goss is going to be under that plat. There's a jump coming in with that power clam. They're probably going to have to let their clam die, which isn't the end of the world. They're going to get another pity out of this, and a push to 50 is still pretty beatable with a push to 65. Kyo does go down there. That is 3 down. Just the heavy left up. Wave, obviously an incredible heavy, but if you get collapsed on by enough people, you're going to have to back off enough to not be able to do too much that's really relevant. If we're able to build a power clam there, and we are seeing players just really looking to be able to claim this space, but Gray does go down, which is not ever the player you want to see go down in these situations. You lose a lot of paint when your splashes go down, and a Carbon in a machine definitely needs that.
Yeah, this excellent flank actually did manage to pinch Alliance Rogue, and that means their push is going to get stopped, but Volti trying to keep the momentum moving. They keep a Zuka in mid, the Zuka and the Dollar Store Zuka fighting on the left side of the map. They're not quite able to get the pick, but Volti gets Kyo running in on his own. That's going to give Alliance Rogue a player advantage here as Volti gets the opportunity to move onto the enemy plat. Now things are looking dangerous. Alliance Rogue has a lot of clams online. We see a flank yet again. Alliance Rogue just needs that one power clam and a couple extra clams in order to take the lead, but that looks like Volti is going to try, is going to end up going down while trying to take out the flank. The power clam goes in, but that's it. Only a few extra points on the board. That's going to give Crush Soda that extra power clam, and now Crush Soda has an opportunity to extend their lead farther, but they need to keep an eye on this flank. You see Scar over there, but Scar is going to end up leaving to try and help on the right, and that unfortunately is going to give an even bigger advantage to Crush Soda here. Things are looking good for them as we go into overtime.
Yeah, Crush Soda definitely feels pretty comfortable in this situation. They just need to make sure not to overextend and take too many risks. We are seeing Scar trying to flank from that right side. That is 2 members of Crush Soda down. We are seeing Kivr moving up here on right. They need to go quickly, though. They are running out of time as this timer counts down in front of them. The Volti manages to get close to the basket. Kivr managing to get the jump in. It's going to be just close enough. They just need to get one clam in, but no, I was wrong. It wasn't close enough, and that's going to be game to Crush Soda.
Wow, that one power clam would have brought the score down to 52. So even if that clam did end up going in, Crush Soda would still have won that game. And Crush Soda actually takes a game. Drop the confetti. Crush Soda, with a, I would say, off-meta team composition, ends up taking that game. Not the double splash, double machine. We're changing things up, and they do manage to actually get a victory there. And yeah. I think they ended up just pushing and playing really smart, which, you know,
nice to see.
Yeah, it's good to see. Compared to last week, they're looking good.
Yeah, they definitely are. I loved seeing that heavy come out. I think Splatlings are so strong on that map. I think Wavebreaker is so good at disrupting players like Volti. And I think it really allowed them to be able to have those constant jumps in for Kyo, which is so important to be able to get your wiper back in constantly.
Yeah, I mean, another thing was, I mean, in addition to that aggressive pressure and Kyo staying alive, we saw those constant flanks coming out from Goss on the machine. Those were kind of what stopped Alliance Rogue from just being able to push. Every time Goss went behind them, basically Volti, who had been watching the flanks previously, was not able to do so. Carbon can't really challenge a machine if they're careful. Machine's especially good at like calling out people who are sharking, hitting people who you don't know the exact position of. And overall, it felt like AR did not have an answer for those flanks going into or on that map when they were pushing. But of course, that is a map with a very big opportunity to flank. The right side is just so far behind. You kind of just need to respect it and have someone watching it at all times. But we're going to be going to a different map for our final Clam Blitz map of the set, or match of the set. I think Volti just changed their banner in between games. Volti had a different banner. But we do see the same exact thing coming out from Crush Soda, the heavy and the wiper, while we see 2 crabs this time. No ink strikes coming out from Alliance Rogue. See if that pays off for them here.
Yeah, and we are definitely going to see Volti getting even more value than usual on this map. This is a map that has always been known to favor Carbons, and we're not going to be able to see those same flanks coming out of Goss here. It is not a map that favors that nearly as much, and Kyo is stuck here in mid, being forced to back off, not going to be able to because of Gray's crab, though. And we are seeing the members of AR being able to move up with those crabs absolutely beautifully and just playing off of it incredibly. Gray doing a great job, moving up quickly, taking advantage of the space they've created. They are choosing to back off a little bit, realizing that they no longer have that, especially with that Wavebreaker coming out.
Yeah, both these teams are ending up pushing very cleanly. They're getting clams in, but they're staying alive and backing off in the opportunity. But Gray manages to sneak a few clams in. Kiver managing to stay alive through that somehow. And Alliance Rogue really surprising and just getting a few extra clams to extend their push a little more. And at that, they are keeping Kiver as well as a couple other members of their team alive and active, painting the enemy flat, so they're not going to lose too much space for that. The Wavebreaker, I think, has been very useful in terms of countering the Sharking Carbon, as well as other members of the team. Kiver finds himself in an awkward position with that Crab, and that's going to make a 3v3 situation in the middle. Gray, marked with that Power Clan, is going to be in Crab Tank, and Gray is going to find a pick. Look for the second on that Booyah, not able to find it, but that is going to give their team some more space in mid and get another push started for AR.
Yeah, Gray looking to move in quickly here again. Great use of Crab Tanks out of both Kiver and Gray there. Able to get that power claim and gonna be able to get in a couple to follow up, but it's just Volty left up. Going to cause chaos, managing to get the wipe. Let's go Volty. And has a lot of clams to throw in while they're just waiting on Crushed Soda to respawn.
Yeah, Volty had a whole 7 clams there, it looked like, and managed to get most of them in, but that's going to lead to a 2-down situation. Goss over on that left side is going to look to take some space, but over on the right side of the map, Kiver as well as Scar are going to be causing quite a nuisance for Crushed Soda there, so no push is going to get started here. Now with the score all the way down to 40, it's going to take a massive push for Crushed Soda to bring this back, as they've yet to get on the board yet, but they do have 2 members down, a 1-player advantage in the middle of the map, but that may be short-lived as Volty moves over on the left, gets another pick, and we are going to be seeing AR just maintain all of that control that they've been having so far this game.
Yeah, Volty has been doing an incredible job of really moving around this map, enabled to Kiver and Gray playing those high paint weapons. Scar doing an incredible job watching for any cleanup that needs to be done and playing off of everyone so well. We're really seeing just how well-oiled of a machine AR is. They might not have been able to deal with the flanks on Museum all that well, but on this map, this feels like their home territory, to be quite honest. This feels like where they want to be.
Yeah, they definitely have a much more thought-out, planned strategy of how they're going to push on this map. We saw it at the start with those Crab Tanks coming in, as well as the push coming in behind it. That push is not going to end up working out for them. Go on this right side, trying to find a pick. They're not quite able to get anything just yet. The Crab Tank on the left. These Crab Tanks that have been coming out from Gray and Kiver so far this game have just been stopping Crushed Soda so well. They've been killing one member pretty consistently, and that's meant that Crushed Soda has had absolutely no opportunities to move in onto this middle of the map, or at least get past it. And now with only a minute and a half remaining, they're just finding themselves stuck on their flat. You see those 2 power claims, now they're marked and they don't have a way to get in. Now that's just going to put a target on their back as they tried to back up and get a sneaky super jump push in. That's not going to work. Volty moves up onto that enemy flat, trying to find some extra picks, not quite able to get another one, but nonetheless, pretty even game so far despite that massive lead.
Yeah, definitely. They've been a lot of back and forth moments. Just Kyo up right now, though, having those power claims, trying to jungle them and keep them alive long enough for their teammates to respawn and come back in. Relying a lot on that mobility of the Wiper to be able to do that. Any other weapon probably would have gone down to the paint at their feet in those situations, but Wiper just doesn't care if it doesn't have that. And it's really awesome to see Kyo be able to play around that so well. As we are seeing AR once again going into those positions we've seen them hold so well, but Kyo's just really getting some incredible picks in these last couple seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Kyo managing to sneak in onto the enemy flat, but 2 members of Crushed Soda go down behind him. Now, Alliance Rogue able to find Kyo, get that pick on him. Kiver manages to get that, and that's going to give Alliance Rogue a lot of control with only 20 seconds left. Alliance Rogue has plenty of plans on the board. They may be looking to extend their lead, try and get a push as overtime begins here, and just stop Crushed Soda by getting a score in of their own. The Crab Tank from Kiver comes out pretty early, not able to find anything. The rest of Alliance Rogue just sitting back, trying to maintain that paint, and that's going to make it very difficult for Crushed Soda to try and get in here. Now Crushed Soda needs to make a move. They need a big push in overtime, and they've been playing so defensive ever since they got those 2 power claims online. They've been sitting on their plat and just been unsure of how to get in. Thunder trying to find something. They're not able to get it. They help get a trade on their team, but that's 3 down onto Alliance Rogue. A well-timed Booyah is going to stop Crushed Soda from moving in. The timer's ticking down, and they're not able to get it in time. AR takes that first set on Clam Blitz.
Really good awareness there out of Scar to hold that Booyah just a bit longer than you would have thought. It didn't get fully charged and then immediately used. There was a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of space. in order to make sure that there were people up to follow up with it, like those burst pumps that we saw Kivir throw there that got the pick on the power clam so that they truly couldn't get it in at the last moment. I do believe with how the timer works, it wouldn't have had a chance to get in anyway, but still.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Alliance Rogue doing a great job of managing their specials throughout that game. Whenever Crush Soda tried to push in, Gray was able to pop that crab tank and either find catch one member of Crush Soda off guard and get that pick, or to just maintain all of the map control, paint control, and just space Crush Soda out in the middle of the map. That end of the game, we saw Scar with a very well-timed Booyah Bomb, and that was really what stopped Crush Soda from being able to get that overtime push. I mean, they had 3 down. It was literally just Scar at that point. So they did a very good job staying alive, positioning well, making sure that you have that Booyah Bomb to shut down the main way that Crush Soda was going to get up onto their plot.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one of those situations where that is such an important thing to do. And we are going to pass it back to our analysts.
So Crush Soda able to come away with 1 game in Clam Blitz, but it's not going to be enough to take the set. Alliance Rogue takes it 2-1. Brush, your thoughts here? I mean, hey, Crush Soda got 1.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, I know you're baiting me for the big comeback play and the Brush makes a fool of himself on stream, but it's not happening today. I mean, at the end of the day, Alliance Rogue wins 2-1. They win 2 games. They got called out by some flanks. They got called out by Museum de Alfonsino. I mean, don't give me that.
Popgun, we were talking a little bit about that 1 game win, and I think there were a few adaptations that Crush Soda kind of had, and also just the ability to play on that specific map that kind of enabled them to be set up for success in that museum game.
Yeah, the game plan is keep Volty in front of you so you know where they are at all times so that you can at least not be caught off guard. And that was what most of those maps were showing you anyways. With Scorched Gorge, they really just have to come around that right side. It's not like you're going to see a Carbon walking across that catwalk to get behind you. And Crush Soda, to their credit, looked pretty decent in all 3 of those games. Was able to tie it up midway through game 1. Keo was having a insane godlike streak there at one point in game 3. Is that going to translate over into the next set? Stranger things have happened so far today. But here's the question for Alliance Rogue. I'm starting to think maybe they're not looking as strong as you would expect a team that's continuing to win this tournament would up to this point. I wonder if they're starting to think ahead a little bit.
We'll have to see what happens here. The next set that's coming up is going to be Rainmaker here. Brush, your quick predictions as we head into this next one.
Look, I mean, if that was the best of Crush Soda, if that was there, if we're going to win one, it's going to be this one, and it's still 2-1 in that caliber. I'm not holding my breath. I mean, I know I said 2-0 last time. I'm saying 2-0 here.
Popgun, give me a scoreline quickly.
I think Alliance Rogue wins this one 2-0. Don't give Crush Soda any hope. They take that and they stretch it.
Alliance Rogue looking to meet Jackpot in finals. We'll send it back over to our casters, Fusion and Nox, for the call.
Well, here we go. We're going to be going into set 2 of Alliance Rogue versus Crush Soda, and I believe we will be going to a Rainmaker next. Tower Control did end up getting banned, and Zones is last. So, do you think that, I mean, I feel like Clam Blitz, for being such a well-coordinated team-based mode, wouldn't fare well for a team that's fighting, that's infighting, but it ended up being pretty okay, honestly. So, I'm wondering how Rainmaker is going to go. Of course, this is despite being not as, like, I guess, independent team objective based, it's a very difficult map, very difficult mode to push on, because you're putting a giant target on your back when you grab that fish. You can kind of cheese and just kill the Rainmaker a lot of ways, and anyone who slipped by is going to be able to stop that Rainmaker. And we may see more of that with, like, the Inkzuka coming out from Volty's Carbon, stopping the Rainmaker here. How do you think AR and Crush Soda will fare here?
Well, I do think AR probably still feels pretty comfortable. They might have dropped 1 game, but it was weird. Museum has a weird flank that they don't have a good answer to, since usually Volty takes care of that, and they had a machine flank the whole time. This map doesn't have those flanks. They definitely feel comfortable on Rainmaker. They've played it well. They've won it. They know how to play it really nicely. They are running a bunch of burst bumps, so they won't be getting popped too often. But both sides are. They are both liking double crab right now, which is a choice.
I mean, it's it's a choice. It's a good choice usually.
Yeah.
Well, often. But nonetheless, both teams are going to be getting that match here on Rainmaker Undertow. Of course, those double crabs on both sides are going to make it very difficult for teams to just stop a Rainmaker pushing on their own. They're also going to pose quite the threat in the middle of the map. We've been seeing Alliance Rogue play very patient ever since that museum game. We've been just seeing them waiting, and Kyo managing to sneak in with that hammer, able to find 2. Oh my god, Kiver knew he was there. Kyo on the hammer, still managing to find it though, and that's a big opportunity for Crush Soda to move. Thunder runs for that checkpoint, and he's going to be able to find it if he doesn't slip, and he finds it. There we go. Phew.
And we do see Kyo go down there, which is good. If they hadn't taken down that flank from Kyo, they'd be in a much worse situation right now. They managed to clean up the machine also. They got the pop already. They feel pretty confident in retaking it at this point as they have 2 members down. And Kyo going to be in mid again already, essentially. But Scar going to be able to poke him, push him back, moving with Volty here. Scar does go down. We are seeing a lot of forward movement. Crab Tank comes out, gets shredded immediately. And we are seeing AR starting to push forward on this left side.
Yeah, they are pushing over on the left. We've seen this last set as well coming out from Crush Soda. They're relying so heavily on that flank. We saw Goss as well as Kyo in mid, while the Rainmaker and another member of AR were pushing over on that right side. They're not facing Alliance Rogue directly. They are trying to just get behind them. You know, you're trying to outflank the flanker. So stop Volty from, just getting up in your face and getting those kills by just not challenging that directly. But those 2 crab tanks are going to be able to get 3 members down onto Crush Soda, and AR has a large opportunity to get that checkpoint here.
Yeah, we're going to be able to swim forward pretty freely with this Rainmaker. One of the splashes goes down. Ray looking to be able to swim up this podium. Hasn't quite found the space yet as it gets painted over again. And they are just trying so hard to get up this. Finally managing to get it. They should be able to pop here fairly easily as there's still a machine down on the side of Crush Soda. And they just need a couple points for lead. There's lead. It's not a significant lead. It's not unbeatable by any means, but they are still up there. They're still fighting for space. They are by no means out of here. Although Scar does go down, and it's just the 2 splashes left, keeping that mid lane.
Yeah, that's a lead that's going to make Crush Soda have to make a move here, but of course 60 generally not the kind of push that just ends the game on this map. You could even take it right to get those points if that's all that you're trying to get past here. So the real game is still ahead of us. Just a single large push for their team or a 3 or 4 down situation is all it's going to take to really give one team the advantage. Volty trying to get in and get a pick, but they manage to get out-painted. They find themselves in an awkward situation while AR grabs the fish. Volty's going to end up getting taken out. Rainmaker, Gray, I believe, is going to stay alive quite a while. That's going to give some time for Alliance Rogue to get back in. Kyo unable to find the pick on Scar on the right side, and that is massive. That means the Rainmaker cannot take that side, and instead Crush Soda is going to have to take the long and arduous way over on the left as Kyo needs to find a pick to help this Rainmaker continue moving. But this is yet another big opportunity for Crush Soda as many members trade on both sides, and Goss manages to find themselves as the only one alive and a full wipe, actually.
Yeah, really great regrouping there out of Alliance Rogue. Scar had to do some interesting moves there to stay alive for as long as they did, but they did manage to keep things stalled out long enough for Volty to come in, get a couple picks, and then for everyone to eventually clean up Goss. And now they have 2 down. They're waiting for Rainmaker to reset. Ray going to be looking towards mid here, and now Volty's really where they want to be. They feel very comfortable there. Now going to be looking out for any potential flanks, but now with that crab, going to be able to move forward some and have that Zuka at the ready.
Yeah, there comes the big push. We saw the crab as well as Volty over on the left, and that opened the door for the Rainmaker to move all the way to 38. That's a much more considerable lead here. Crush Soda, with under a minute left, is going to have to move that fish, but they're going to need to clear the middle of the map first. It's not the toughest task in the world for them, but they're going to have to get 3 down probably onto Alliance Rogue if they're going to want to even challenge it. And here come the crab tanks coming out from Crush Soda. Here's one in the middle of the map battling with Gray over on the left. Gray's managing to stay alive throughout that encounter. Now Thunder pops that crab tank as the other one runs out, but it looks like they managed to get their last final revenge onto the Rainmaker and stopping that push as Crush Soda's push gets stuffed out.
Yeah, and it looks like Volty able to play cleanup there on Gauze. Kiver getting a huge pick there, getting to help roll over another player, as they're just really... AR has had mid for this game. Crush Soda got that one opening push, but ever since then, it has kind of been everything at Alliance Rogue's pace. They've been able to hold this mid area so well, and we just see them continuing to do it there, able to keep that space, able to keep that paint, and not overextending into what Crush Soda wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance Rogue definitely adapted since the previous game. They've been playing a lot more patiently, and it's felt like Crush Soda has not had a way in since then. They've been having trouble getting picks with those specials. The Wiper is not able to actually find any 1v1s. Kyo's been just kind of running in and either finding themselves in the face of a machine, which is, of course, not the greatest weapon, not the weapon you want to find yourself face to face with, or faced with multiple members of AR. I mean, even Volty has been playing a lot more patient and defensive, I'd say. And when he's gone in, that's kind of been the cue for all of AR to pop those crab tanks, move, just like we've been seeing the past few weeks.
Yeah, Volty definitely sets the pace of Alliance Rogue's pushes. They have to wait for Volty to go in, get those couple picks, or else they don't have the opening that they necessarily want. It's hard for them to force those openings without Volty doing what he does so well. Obviously, Scar can do a great job there with that machine to get those picks also, but it's way easier if Volty manages to go in and get a couple, and then Scar can keep playing for chip damage to allow Volty to keep getting them. That seems to be more what they're after.
Yeah, I mean, and it's been working for them so far. Crush Soda has not seemed out of it just yet, as AR has been having a pretty hard time getting in. We saw them just kind of diving for a few extra points there, and for the most part, Crush Soda has been able to match pace with them and slow down their pushes. But of course, in order to stay alive in this set, they're going to need to do more than match pace. This is the final game for them unless they're able to win it here. We see that double splash coming out yet again. We see the double splash on the other side with Kyo still on the Wiper. Very aggressive team compositions coming out from both sides. 2 splashes, a machine, and a gremlin on both sides. And they're going to be running for that Rainmaker at the start, as it looks like Crush Soda is going to actually get that pop uncontested.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Alliance Rogue wanted it there too bad. We are seeing the crab tanks already coming out here on the side of Crush Soda, looking to clear this space, looking to clear everything out. Do manage to take out Scar already, but we see both crab tanks ready from Alliance Rogue, so it's going to be really hard for Crush Soda to start making a push here, even though they did manage to take Scar out. We are seeing Kiver starting to move up in mid, using that crab tank on the left side, able to take out one of the machines already. And we are seeing Gray grabbing this Rainmaker, taking it left like we've been seeing Starburst doing so often lately, but not quite working out for them the way it does for Starburst, because Thunder was able to sharp and manage to get that. But Volty managing to use that Zuka to get that pick.
Yeah, Volty does manage to find that pick, and we've been seeing a lot the kind of pushes over on the left side. We kind of saw Crush Soda trying to set up for that push there, as well as Alliance Rogue tending for that on their own. But this has been a very complex battle here, as Thunder is now behind them on the left side and manages to get 2 who thought the Rainmaker pedestal was completely open. And this is a very dangerous situation, because 3 down is a very bad thing on a small Rainmaker map like Hagglefish, but Volty is going to turn that 3 down into an advantage for AR.
Yeah, Volty just doing an incredible job, and both mechanically and awareness-wise to make that happen. But it does seem like Crush Soda is going to be able to get this podium and look to be able to continue this push as Wave is watching this Rainmaker, as 2 members had gone down. We are seeing a flank, most likely out of Kiver, but it could have just been a burst bomb. They don't manage to make the jump over. That is absolutely huge. That is way harder to recover from, as we are seeing Kyo trying to find a pick on the crab, not quite able to. Does help shred it faster, though, and we are seeing everyone moving forward into mid.
Yeah, that checkpoint is the biggest deal on that on this map. That jump is the difference between 61 and like 30. So now AR is going to be able to find the checkpoint on the right side, and that means that they don't have to do that anymore. They're able to take that jump in mid, but they do end up going 3 down in the process. Crush Soda hasn't fully cleared out AR, so they're taking their time in mid, and Volty's Zuka is going to yet again stop. Oh my goodness, Volty knows the angle. Volty knows the angle. Volty shot over that wall, nearly got Kyo, but staying alive in that situation. Yeah, Volty yet again stopping Crush Soda for when they hold forward after a near wipe.
Yeah, we love talking about Volty as an offensive player, but Volty is just as good at doing offense as defense as we've been seeing this game especially. We are seeing Scar getting close to that lead up. I'm probably going to use it to help them move forward on this left side. Crab Tank's coming out, going to probably try and hold forward for points since they don't have a ton to work with. Not going to work though with Kyo's hammer coming out, and it is just the last splash up. Kiver left here in mid, looking to try and pull off a flank, it seems like, but not going to be able to find something safe to go for too quick.
He does end up finding that flank, and that's been like the bane of Crush Soda's existence. They've been finding themselves face-to-face with a single member of Alliance Rogue, and that's been enough to shut down their pushes. Volty on the flank is able to get 2 picks here, and that means that yet again, what could have been an opportunity for Crush Soda to move forward gets shut down. But Thunder just dodging. I don't know how. What is going? How is he alive? Okay, there we go. And he finds a trade. That's ridiculous. Anyways, that gave Crush Soda so much time to get back in the middle. And you know, mind you, Crush Soda has the lead now. Not by much, but they have a lead. And that means AR needs to make a move here.
AR is definitely looking to make moves. They're clearing out space. They're trying to do what they can, but Volty goes down. Again, Volty's been going down early in pushes, which is why we keep seeing Volty doing this cleanup at the end. Thunder trying to get some quick points, able to get them all the way to 47. Once again, not unbeatable by any means, still very doable, but we are seeing Kyo able to get that pop, taking advantage of the high object damage out of Viper, looking to get the pick on Volty. Volty, not sure if that was a purposeful grab or not, but definitely grabbed the Rainmaker, dropped it down a bit, giving their teammates some time to respawn and regroup. As we are seeing Star trying to find a pick, but going down to Kyo again, as Kyo is just tearing through everyone right now.
Yeah, this is the silliest push I've ever seen. Rainmaker moving up on the left, Kyo goes in, gets a pick, and that's just kind of rinse and repeat. That's happened like 3 times. There's been a single member of AR there. He runs into the Rainmaker with the hammer and ends up dying along with that pop, but that's a push down to 31. That means that AR is going to need to actually make the jump or get a push on the other side, at least this good, if they want to take back that lead. And that's a difficult feat with only 30 seconds remaining. A good Booyah Bomb is going to let Gray move up here, and now Gray over on the right side going to try and continue this push for AR, but 3 members of Crush Soda are still up, and Volty ends up getting taken down, and that's going to make it very difficult for AR to really get in here, as Crush Soda looks to just be getting specials and turtling up as we hit down to the final 10 seconds and overtime of this game.
Yeah, Crush Soda doesn't have any reason to not turtle up right now. They have the lead they want, and we don't need to. And right now, AR is in an awkward situation. They don't have any specials ready. They don't have anything to work with. They have all their members. We are seeing them get close to that Booyah Bomb and that Zuka. They are running out of time in overtime, though. And Kyo's looking to push them from that right side. It's almost like they've left open. But right now, Gray isn't able to fully capitalize on that, looking to get some picks. Starting to move through left. We are seeing that Booyah Bomb come out here from Scar, and we are seeing them slowly move forward, managing to get these points, and that might be lead, and there it is!
God. That's not how you want to go out.
It is not. That is unfortunate. It seems like Crush Soda might have turtled up just a little too much there to be able to make that work.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they managed to sneak. AR manages to sneak by with that Rainmaker along with that Booyah Bomb. Crush Soda looking so hard for that push in the middle of the map and unable to really reach that bottom left, unable to approach that Booyah Bomb, challenging ahead of that Rainmaker and not realizing quite the urgency that you need to have on that side of the map. It's very easy, or just on this map in general, it's very easy to lose points quickly. And sometimes it's worth putting yourself at risk just to get that one important pick. Unfortunately, that Booyah Bomb was not enough on its own. AR is going to take that win of the set and the match. They're going to be moving on to grand finals versus not Starburst, but Jackpot. And Starburst versus Crush Soda will be our 3rd place match, which I believe is coming up next. That was a great set, but I believe we are going to be throwing it back to the analyst desk to break that down and talk about what we are going to be seeing after this.
So Crush Soda almost hung in there. They almost had it in them. I mean, to that point here, Popgun, we were talking a little bit about it, but Crush Soda, even if they're not as coordinated, certainly still showing why they are one of the strongest teams and some of the strongest players that we have to work with here.
Yeah, I would argue that was probably the best Kyo's been playing all season long. Kyo looked really good throughout the course of that entire set in a losing effort. It's weird to think Crush Soda only lost that one 4-1. They only won 1 game in that set. They looked really competitive the entire time. That was unexpected.
And Brush, I think a large part of that too is limiting the efficiency of the carbon roller. You called it out while we were talking that it felt like Alliance Rogue often were finding themselves in only 1-for-1 trades rather than the kinds of trades where we're seeing Volty come up with 2 or 3 all at once.
Yeah, and in that game too on Hagglefish there, I mean, for a minute, the trades are looking like they're going in favor of Crush Soda because you're not able to open that door to get movement. You're stuck going down. Now it's a 3v3 and you're not getting momentum in a 3v3 with your main Slayer down. But ultimately, I mean, it's not about some of those pushes. You find the one good push, you find the one good opportunity, have that be 20 seconds into a 30-second overtime. That's a game win and that's a set win, and you're moving on to grand finals.
And on that note, Alliance Rogue will go up against Jackpot later today. Popgun, I mean, Jackpot looked incredibly strong over Starburst. Alliance Rogue might have been a little bit shaky versus Crush Soda. Of course, we'll get to this much later, but give me your gut reactions heading into that matchup, thinking through it right now.
Yeah, if you're Alliance Rogue, you want to quickly dismiss Crush Soda so that you can just start focusing mentally on the next set. That wasn't a pretty win for Alliance Rogue. It doesn't matter. Just survive and advance. You got the whole third place match to recollect yourselves, figure out what went wrong the last time, what adjustments you need to make. Alliance Rogue is going to be just fine, and we're set up for a great grand finals.
And Brush, on that point too, give me your reactions heading into this grand finals match, because we've seen Jackpot, like we said, play incredibly well, and let's not discredit what they've been able to put off so far, even though some of us have been downplaying what they were doing in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to dwell on the fact that Crush Soda was in that game and sent that to overtime. Ultimately, Alliance Rogue got rid of Crush Soda, and they're moving on, and now they can focus in and really play their strongest. I mean, you don't want to waste that energy early on in the day, and, you know, it's going to start getting a little bit late into the evening for them, being an EU team. So, yeah, I mean, saving that energy for the big Jackpot set, Jackpot or Starburst, either way, you're going into a hell of a fight.
Well, we'll see what happens. It might have been sloppy, but it was still enough to get the job done there. And so we'll see that, of course, finals match take place a little bit later. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about our third place match coming up. That'll be Starburst playing for third place, Popgun, over Crush Soda. I'm sure you still can't get over that fact.
Well, there's still some value to be gained from Starburst here. I wonder if we're going to see some different comps come out here. Not in the sense of, oh, we're going to start memeing because it's third place, we don't care anymore. But we saw some experimentation coming out of Starburst against Jackpot. I wonder if that is due to the fact that they lost to Alliance Rogue and they're starting to rethink how they do things. I think we might see a little bit more experimentation, not memeing going on in this next set for Starburst.
But here's the other thing, Brush. We talked a little bit about it at some point, but Starburst might be starting to overthink what they're doing. And I fear that if they overthink what they're doing, especially mid-game, Crush Soda is exactly the kind of team that'll punish them for any possible hesitations.
Yeah, I mean, I think to Popgun's point, right? Like, you're coming in here, you're feeling not the greatest if you're Starburst. You want to try to do something different. But I think something different here is going back to their roots, going back to their basics, pulling back out what has won them, 48 games back to back up until this point. And so they changed something and they lost. So changing more can just mean going back, and that can win you third place.
Folks, we are going to take a real brief break. So use this time, grab yourself. I mean, if you're in the States and you haven't had a lunch yet, please go do that. Have a lunch, go use the bathroom real quick, or in Europe, go have dinner. We'll be right back in just a few brief minutes to kick off with extended conversations about that third place match. Don't go anywhere. All four teams are still playing for what's coming up next.